Time doesn't ask for permission, it doesn't wait for your plans, and it doesn't care if you're ready. Every tick of the clock is a piece of your life, slipping away quietly, whether you notice it or not. We like to tell ourselves that we have time, that we'll get to our dreams later, that tomorrow will be the day we start, but tomorrow has a way of becoming next week, next month, next year. The truth is, you're not just passing time, time is passing you, and in that passing, your story is being written moment by moment, choice by choice, heartbeat by heartbeat. Time is the only currency you can't earn back, and yet it's the one most people spend without thinking. Money can be lost and gained again, possessions can be replaced, relationships can heal or rebuild, but time, once it's gone, is gone forever. Every second that passes is part of your life being spent. It's like a bank account you can never deposit into, only withdraw from, and the withdrawals happen automatically, whether you're intentional about them or not. We grow up believing we have an endless supply of days, that there will always be another sunrise, another chance, another opportunity to start fresh. But the older you get, the more you realize the truth. Those days are numbered, and you don't know what that number is. That's what makes time so powerful and so fragile at the same time. Think about how much effort people put into managing money. Budgets, investments, savings accounts, tracking expenses, looking for ways to grow it. Imagine if we treated our time the same way, tracking where it goes, cutting out waste, investing it in things that bring growth and fulfillment. But most people don't. They spend hours scrolling, complaining, waiting for something to happen, not realizing that those hours are silently being pulled from their life account. The problem is that we often measure the value of a day only in terms of productivity or achievements, forgetting that the way we spend our minutes is shaping who we are becoming. Even rest, leisure, and play are valuable when they are intentional. It's not about being busy every second, it's about being aware of where your seconds go. The tragedy is that people don't usually feel the urgency until they hit a moment when time can no longer be negotiated, when the chance to make a choice, repair a relationship, or take a step toward it. A dream is gone. That's when regret creeps in, when they look back and realize that the moments they thought were small were actually the ones that mattered most. Time doesn't always give you a warning before it's up. You don't get a notification saying, "This is the last time you'll see this person," or "This is your final shot at this opportunity." It just happens, and suddenly what you thought was guaranteed is now just a memory. If you were to think of time in financial terms, every day you wake up is like receiving a fresh deposit into your account. 86,400 seconds. How you use them determines the quality of your life. You can spend them on things that bring joy, growth, and meaning, or waste them on things that drain you, distract you, and keep you stuck. The difference is that with money, you can make a mistake and work hard to replace what you lost. With time, mistakes simply cost you a piece of your life you can never get back. And when people say, "I don't have time," what they really mean is, "I'm choosing to spend my time elsewhere." That's why the awareness of time as a finite resource changes everything. When you see it for what it truly is, life's most precious and irreplaceable asset, you begin to make different decisions. You stop tolerating things that steal your energy without giving value in return. You start prioritizing the conversations, experiences, and goals that actually matter to you. You say no more often, not because you're rude, but because you understand that every yes comes at the cost of something else. This mindset forces you to ask yourself, is this worth my life minutes? The irony is that people often guard their money fiercely, but give away their time to anyone or anything without question. They'll negotiate over the price of an object, but not over the hours of their life they're trading away for things they don't care about. And when those hours are gone, there's no getting them back, no refund policy, no second round. This is why some of the most successful and fulfilled people in the world aren't just masters of their craft. They're masters of their time. They understand that it's the only resource that can't be increased, only optimized. When you truly embrace the fact that time is the only currency you can't earn back, you start living with a sense of urgency that's not frantic but purposeful. You start choosing experiences over excuses, action over hesitation, and presence over distraction. You begin to see that life isn't something waiting to start. It's happening now, in the middle of your everyday moments, and those moments are slipping through your fingers whether you use them well or not. The value of your life is in many ways the sum of how you've spent this currency you've been given, and the way you spend it is shaping not just your days but the entire story of who you are. Becoming small daily choices shape the entire direction of your life, even though they rarely feel powerful in the moment. The big milestones people admire, success, transformation, achievement, are almost always the result of hundreds or thousands of small, almost invisible decisions compounded over time. These choices are easy to overlook because they're not dramatic. Choosing to read for 20 minutes instead of scrolling on your phone doesn't make headlines. Opting for a healthy meal instead of fast food won't transform your body in a day. Deciding to work on a skill for half an hour tonight won't suddenly turn you into an expert. But each of these decisions is like placing a single brick, and over time, those bricks become the foundation of your entire future. The difficulty is that small choices feel inconsequential. You skip a workout and nothing bad happens. You put off a project for a day and the sky doesn't fall. You spend the evening binging a show instead of learning something new, and it seems harmless. The effects are so subtle at first that you can convince yourself they don't matter, but they do, because every small choice is a vote for the type of person you are becoming. When you repeatedly choose something, you're not just creating a habit, you're reinforcing an identity. If you consistently choose discipline over distraction, over time you start to see yourself as someone who follows through. If you consistently choose avoidance, you start to believe you're the type of person who can't be relied on to take action. The compounding effect of small choices works in both directions. Positive choices, repeated over time, can lead to remarkable progress. Negative choices, repeated over time, can lead to quiet destruction. The danger with negative patterns is that they often feel comfortable. They're easy to justify because the damage isn't instant, but habits are like seeds. What you plant daily will eventually grow, and you don't get to escape the harvest. The person you are today is the result of the choices you made months or years ago, and the person you'll be years from now will be shaped by the choices you're making today. Every day is full of crossroads, and most of them don't look dramatic. You choose whether to speak up or stay silent. You choose whether to start the task now or delay it. You choose whether to give your best effort or just get by. These decisions stack on top of each other, steering your life in a certain direction, often without you realizing it until you're far along the path. The scary part is that drifting is easy. If you don't make intentional choices, you'll still end up somewhere, but it might not be where you want to be. That's why paying attention to the little decisions matters so much. People love to believe that a single big breakthrough will change everything. They imagine one perfect opportunity, one life-changing event, one big leap forward. But breakthroughs are almost always built on the back of small, consistent actions that no one else sees. The person who suddenly makes it in their career has been showing up, learning, failing, and improving in ways the world didn't notice. The athlete who appears to have overnight success has been training relentlessly when no one was watching. The reality is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits, and your habits are the sum of your small choices. The challenge is that making the right choice in the moment often feels inconvenient. The payoff is too far in the future to see, so you have to trust that the effort you're putting in today will matter tomorrow. This requires discipline and patience, two qualities that aren't natural in a world that teaches us to want instant results. But when you learn to value long-term gain over short-term comfort, you start to shift the trajectory of your life. The rewards may come slowly, but they come with interest. It's also important to realize that small choices influence more than just results. They shape your mindset. When you keep promises to yourself, even in small ways, you build self-respect and confidence. Each completed task, each healthy decision, each step outside your comfort zone becomes proof to yourself that you can trust your own word. That inner trust is what gives you the strength to take on bigger challenges later. On the other hand, repeatedly breaking small promises to yourself chips away at your belief in your own ability to follow through, making it harder to commit to anything meaningful. This is why intentional living is so powerful. It's not about making perfect choices every time. It's about being aware that every choice is a thread in the fabric of your life. You won't always get it right, but you can aim to get it right more often than not. You can pause before acting and ask, is this moving me closer to the life I want or further away? That question alone can change the way you spend your time, energy, and attention. Over time, the small daily choices you make determine whether you're building a life of purpose and fulfillment or drifting into a life of regret. They determine the strength of your relationships, the state of your health, the growth of your career, and the depth of your character. They decide whether your future is something you intentionally designed or something that just happened to you by default. And the truth is, it's not the giant leaps, but the quiet, consistent steps that create the path you'll be walking years from now. Procrastination disguises itself as comfort, but steals your future. And most of the time it feels harmless in the moment. It shows up as that little voice that says, I'll start tomorrow, I'll do it when I'm ready, or it's not urgent yet. It's smooth, convincing, and patient, always ready to give you a reason to delay the thing you know you should be doing. In the moment, procrastination feels like relief. You get to avoid discomfort, hard work, or risk. You get to stay where it feels safe, wrapped in the familiar. But what it's really doing is quietly robbing you of opportunities, progress, and growth, while making you believe you're protecting yourself. The dangerous thing about procrastination is that it doesn't feel like a threat. It doesn't announce itself with alarms or red flags. It slips in unnoticed, often disguised as taking a break or waiting for the right time. Days pass, then weeks, then months, and you convince yourself you're still just preparing. But preparation without action is just a slower form of avoidance. And while you're standing still, Time is moving forward, and so are the people who are willing to start before they're ready. Opportunities that were in front of you shift away. The momentum you could have built stays locked behind a door you never opened. Every time you procrastinate, you're choosing a short-term sense of ease over a long-term reward. You're trading the discomfort of growth for the comfort of stagnation. That's why it's so deceptive. It doesn't feel like loss in the moment, but if you zoom out and look at the cumulative effect, it's one of the most expensive habits a person can have. The dreams you put off aren't just paused, they're aging with you. The longer you wait, the more conditions change, the more energy you lose, and the harder it becomes to take that first step. Procrastination also has a way of training your mind to expect that there will always be more time. This false sense of abundance makes it easy to justify delay, because the consequences of waiting aren't immediate. But when the consequences finally arrive, when you've missed the chance, lost the connection, or let the window close, there's no way to rewind. And by then, the comfort you once clung to is replaced by regret, which is far more uncomfortable than the thing you were avoiding in the first place. One of the most common lies procrastination tells you is that you're waiting for the perfect moment. But perfect moments don't exist, they're created through action. Waiting for ideal conditions is a way of avoiding the vulnerability of starting imperfectly. Yet the people who make progress in life aren't the ones who begin when everything is aligned. They're the ones who start despite the misalignment, trusting they'll figure it out along the way. They understand that clarity comes from doing, not from thinking about doing. There's also a psychological cost to procrastination that most people overlook. Every time you delay something important, you're sending yourself the message that your goals can wait, that they're not urgent, and that your future can be negotiated with. Over time, this erodes your self-trust. You start to doubt your own ability to follow through. This lack of trust can leak into every area of your life, making it harder to commit, harder to take risks, and harder to believe you're capable of creating change. Procrastination doesn't just waste time, it reshapes the way you see yourself. The worst part is that procrastination often feels like it's keeping you safe from failure, but in reality, it's guaranteeing a kind of failure that's permanent. When you avoid taking the shot, you're not avoiding the possibility of missing. You're ensuring you'll never score at all. You trade the chance of temporary discomfort for the certainty of permanent loss. And while the pain of trying and failing can fade with time, the pain of knowing you never tried at all has a way of sticking with you. Overcoming procrastination isn't about pushing yourself into constant motion or burning out in the name of productivity. It's about recognizing the moments when comfort is actually a trap. It's about catching yourself in that split second where you choose to delay and asking if the delay is serving you or robbing you. It's about realizing that progress doesn't require giant leaps. It starts with small, consistent actions that compound over time. Starting is the hardest part because it breaks the illusion that you're not ready. But once you begin, even imperfectly, the momentum shifts in your favor. The truth is, the future you want is being built or stolen by the choices you're making right now. Every time you let procrastination win, you're pushing that future further away. And while it might feel easier in the moment to stay in the comfort of waiting, what you're really doing is letting that comfort quietly dismantle the life you could have had.